ready with a game. So, those of you joining us on Zoom would love if you could potentially be able to have screens on so you can join us, but if not, that's fine. Wherever you're watching us, just join in with us. Okay, so we're going to go through some actions, and then you're going to try and match the actions that I do. So the first actions are stars. The second action is pouring. And then the third action is your crossest, grumpiest face. Okay?
So if you can do an action, so I'm going to do this one. And you could either do pouring or an angry face. What are you going to do? So I'm going to do this one, and then Becca's going to turn around and choose an action. Oh, well done.
Well done if you've got pouring. That's wonderful. All right, next action. Okay.
So remember, you can either do stars, angry face, or pouring. And we have the longest.
Shall we go through the actions again?
Shall we? Hi, Isaac and Annie and Olivia. We're doing a game. So I'm going to show you some actions, and then if you want to do one, and then Becca's going to turn around and do an action. So you can do stars, an angry face, or pouring. So choose an action. So I'm going to do this one. So stars, angry face, or pouring. Oh, well done. Yeah. Isaac had the angry face as well.
Good angry face. Okay, next action.
So stars, angry face, or pouring. Oh. Yeah, you can turn around. And Becca's doing
Stars.
stars.
Looks like lots of pouring.
I think there was lots of pouring that time.
All right, we'll do one more and then we'll get ready for worship.
So, what one are we going to choose now? If there are any two, I can do stars. Oh, we have Isaac doing an action, and yeah.
Ready?
Becca's going to turn around.
Stars.
Yeah, I think we've all got stars. Well done.
Right, let's start worship.
So now we're going to do some worship, because it's great to sing praises to our God and tell him how much we love him. So the first song we're going to do is called Ask, Seek, Knock. We have done it before, so.
I'm reading my B-I-B-L-E, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how J-E-S-U-S came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. Oh, oh. I'm reading my B-I-B-L-E, and this is what it says to me. It tells me that I'm never ever alone. I'm learning how J-E-S-U-S came down to us and gave his best. Without a doubt, the best friend you'll ever know. Our God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. door. Oh, whoa. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. God knows exactly what I need, so I remember this. Let's go! When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. When you ask, he cares. When you seek, he's there. When you knock, 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 God opens up the door. You opened up the door. You opened up the door. Oh.
That was really great, and hello to anyone else who has just joined us. It's really good to have you. We're now going to sing Our God is a Great Big God.
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than the skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine. He is wider than the universe, and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me, and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He's higher than a skyscraper, and deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe, and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me, and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. 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 And He holds us in His hands.
That was really good, and I know that we might be having a bit of a technical problem, so some people have gone to watch us on YouTube as well. But well done for worshipping with us. And now Becca's going to do a story.
Yes. So I'm going to sit down to tell the story just so I can rest a bit. Feel free to join me. And so in this story, we're going to talk about Jesus and His friends, the disciples. And all of the disciples got to know Jesus really, really well. So because they saw each other so often and spent so much time together, they became really close friends. But like all friends, sometimes they got upset with each other. And one day, a lady came and she poured a really expensive jar of perfume on Jesus' feet and his body. And this was an act of worship and a gift of sacrifice because of how much it was worth. And Jesus said it was such a special thing to do. But some of the disciples had gotten really cross because it was so much money that could have been spent on the poor. And because of how much money it was and how much they wanted to help the poor, although the Bible does also recognize that one particular disciple started stealing from Jesus, so he possibly wanted to sell the jar and keep some of it for himself as well, which isn't a great decision. And he got so upset by this and other things that in his anger, instead of talking to Jesus, he went to the people who he knew wanted to hurt Jesus, and he asked them, "How much money would you give me if I helped you?" Because he was so upset. And instead of talking to Jesus and being a good friend or asking God for help with forgiving him, he just held it up and seeked something that wasn't good for everyone. And in that, they came to an agreement where he was going to help them. And at the Last Supper, Jesus knew that his friend Judas was going to be horrible. As he broke the bread and he drank the wine with his friends, he explained that someone was going to be really horrible and betray him. Betraying is a big word for when people do things that intentionally hurt you, and that you had their trust and then they break it. And that's what Judas did, because that very night, he went and he got some guards, and those guards came to arrest Jesus for the priests. And at the time, it was culturally like a greeting. It is in some cultures still, if you go to Italy or other places like that, where you say hello to someone, you give them a kiss on the cheek. Probably not at the moment during the coronavirus, like pandemic, but I'm sure once we get well clear of that, that'll probably be something that will happen again. But at the time, that's what was doing. So he went to his friend, kissed him like a friend, knowing that he was going to bring things that wasn't good for Jesus and was going to hurt him because of the anger that he built up instead of talking to Jesus and instead of being a good friend. And so that led to some really horrible things, which God had a whole plan overall. But still, what Jesus did was not being a good friend. And he later began to regret it. So much so that the money that he'd been given, he threw back at the people who'd given it to him because he didn't want it. He felt so guilty. He felt like he'd done the wrong thing and he didn't know how to fix it. And so often we can make decisions in our anger or we're cross at people and we just hurt people because we're upset and because we've not talked to them or talked to people who can help us. But we know that God loves us, and even when we make those kind of mistakes, Jesus died and rose again so that we can be forgiven, so that we can be good friends like Jesus, because Jesus is the best friend. He told us that whoever comes and lays his life down for his friend is just, I've forgotten the rest of it, but is amazing. And so we thank God that he sent Jesus to be that best friend for us. And we can ask God to help us be good friends because of what Jesus did. Thinking about, okay, is this a decision that's a bad friend, or is this a decision that's a good friend? Because Jesus came so that we can love others, and loving people is what good friends do. And now Corin's going to pray with us.
Yeah, and if you want to pray at home with your families as well, you can do. So I'm going to pray now. Lord, thank you that you are our best friend, that you love us and that we can love you as well. I pray that you help us to be good friends to others around us and tell them about you and how much you love them as well. Amen.
Thank you so much for joining us for that story and sitting so well and listening. Hudson, did you have your hand up because you wanted to say a prayer? We can try it. I'm not sure what our sound is doing at the moment, but we can definitely try it. So go on, turn your mics on, Emily and Hudson, if you want to. Are we telling us? Okay. Yeah, that's fine, Emily and Hudson, you can. Amen. Go on, Emily.
last one we're going to do is Nothing is Impossible, I think.
I can do anything. I can do all things. 'Cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Shout it out. Nothing is impossible. Come on, let's dance. I'm not gonna live by what I see. I'm not gonna live by what I feel. Come on, sing it. Deep down, I know that you're here with me. I know that you can do anything. Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things. 'Cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. I'm not gonna live by what I see. I'm not gonna live by what I feel. Deep down, I know that you're here with me. I know that you can do anything. Through you, I can do anything. I can do all things. 'Cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. Say, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. Hey, I believe, I believe in you. I can do anything. I can do all things. 'Cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes are open. Strongholds are broken. I am living by faith. Nothing is impossible. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe in you. I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe in you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been so lovely having you guys with us on whatever way of accessing this you have. It's been lovely. And thank you so much for just getting to know Jesus with us. Yeah,
Yeah.
have a good week, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.